So I've done two videos where I've done tests to see what would happen within the F1 game. So in this video, we're going to go for more of a challenge. Well, the testing the 2-hour limit rule was a challenge, but this is an actual challenge. After my practice in the puncturing all my tyres video, I've decided in this video the challenge will be completing a 25% race distance, driving backwards the entire time. Now obviously I won't actually be able to finish the race because I won't technically have completed any laps, at least in the right direction. So the goal in this challenge is to survive until first place crosses the line and we see the checkered flag. So the rules for this challenge: I've got to be driving backwards the entire time. I've got to be making an effort to go as fast as possible. I can't just go incredibly slowly, wait for the cars to pass, and then go about my day. My miles per hour cannot hit 0 at any point in the race, otherwise I have to reset. And I've got to do my utmost to stay on track. Obviously at some points I will have to go off track, but I've got to try and stay on the black stuff as much as possible. I expect this to take a while, so let's get started. So the first attempt for this challenge, I decided I'm just going to go flat out. We're going to find out where we meet the cars, and then we'll work out the issues from there. However, I did fuck up before that point, so regardless of already failing, I decided to keep going, just see where I'd meet the cars and sort of practice finding out their racing line. And the first attempt actually went quite well. We managed to survive, even though it doesn't really matter. I was also finding out, where I'd be spinning the most, because I'm not very good. So as long as I was quick enough, I quickly learned that the first time meeting the cars was actually pretty easy. There was a lovely gap, and as long as I was a little bit slow coming to the apex, I was absolutely fine. The second time, however, I'd have to be quite quick because there was a gap on the outside of turn 1. If I wasn't quick enough, that would happen. I also learned fairly early on, it wasn't just the AI that proved to be the difficulty in this challenge. There were other issues I'd have to contend with, and they were my just complete inability to be good at this game. Once I'd learned that, I was able to actually make it around this corner, despite my best efforts of trying to spin it in the wall. But it didn't matter anyway, because the curbs on this game, or at this track at least, are just lethal.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
A few attempts later and a lot more crashes later, I did actually learn if I was quick enough, I could get to the outside of this corner the first time I made the AI, but it did prove a lot more risky than my previous strategy. Now I'd been recording for about 20 minutes by this point and I hadn't really made much progress. However, on this run we finally managed to get round turn 1. We find that gap on the outside, despite a few cars trying to kill us on the exit. And for the first time, we complete our first lap. 20 minutes in. Thankfully, lap 2 was much easier. We meet the cars on the straight, and there was actually a gap forming in the pack, so we were able to go in between that, get to the outside, and survive once again. Never mind. Yeah, despite the nature of the challenge, it wasn't actually the pack that proved to be the most difficult. It was just the absolutely brutal curbs at this track. There'd always be some way that I could get past the AI whenever I met them. However, it would just be riding over the curbs that would prove to be the death of me. Sometimes quite literally.
Check your MFD for a new strategy.
After 10 minutes of suffering, I decided to try and calm down a bit, stop trying to go as fast as possible, even though that was one of the rules, and take it a little bit slower just so we could make some progress. And it was actually going great. Right up until I tried to take the inside line at turn 1 and realised the pit wall was there.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
That might have been the most soul-crushing retirement of all in this challenge, because it was just so painfully slow. So we kept to our strategy of going slow to the apex at most of the corners. It didn't really work. We now had no wing, and it was going to be even more difficult. We did, however, learn our lesson at turn 1, going a little bit slower, and we make it past the pack to complete a lap once again, and I think that's only the second time I've done this. So we're completely no wing now. We luckily meet the cars on straights, and just keeping to the edge of the track, we are able to survive. We do get quite lucky at turn 5, I will admit. I think it's turn 5. We have to go to the inside, we spin on the curb, and luckily hit the barrier and don't hit 0 on the MPH. We also have an incredibly scary moment the next time we meet them on the following lap, where we have to really squeeze between them and the barrier. Luckily, it is literally a car's width. So this is our best run yet. We've been driving for 4 minutes. Despite our best efforts to kill Verstappen there, we do just about avoid him with no front wing, and we were able to avoid both the oncoming traffic and the horrible curbs. Our closest call yet came about the 5-minute mark when we come into the final corner and very nearly kill a lot of drivers, but luckily the lack of a front wing actually saves us there. However, this would all come to an end 5.5 minutes in, not because of the oncoming cars, but because of this sodding curb. And also, I guess, the oncoming traffic as well. I also took a look at the replay camera just to take a bit of a break and, you know, maybe I could get a good thumbnail. No, I couldn't. That's literally all the replay camera got. I wasn't in it once. And nothing showed my growing frustration more than this pathetic attempt. So by this point I was getting wound up, so I decided to really try hard this. Yeah, that one hurt. That one really hurt. I was nearing an hour's recording by this stage, and this is just a highlight of the suffering I had to endure.
Okay, we held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay
I decided to take a break and get a thumbnail for this video, just to calm down a bit and regain my sanity. Then after a short break, we can get back into it, refreshed and ready to complete this challenge.
Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
Shut up!
So I don't know how I survived that. Now the plus side was, at this stage, the grid had actually spread out quite a bit, so we had gaps to weave between them if we needed to. The downside is we had a punctured tyre and no front wing, so we couldn't really weave too much. Whenever we were on the inside, we kind of just had to brake and pray we didn't understeer into someone. Now the worst part about this challenge was, because obviously I was staying on lap 1 technically, I had no idea how much longer I had left. All I had to do was keep avoiding cars and pray it would end soon.
Nope.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
Kids, won't you step outside for a second?
Oh, would you look at that? We complete the challenge. We actually were able to do it. We made it to the checkered flag. Unfortunately, the recording had some issues, but we made it. We did it. I ain't doing it again.